Like most racers, Mac Clark began racing in karts. He moved into cars at age 15, quickly becoming the F1600 Rookie of the Year and then Series Champion in 2020. He's just claimed another title in the USF Junior category, and with the scholarship he receives, he'll move up the ladder to the USF 2000 class. All this, and he's just started his first year at Ontario Tech University. Mac, how are you enjoying the journey so far?
It's incredible, Todd. All the experiences that I've been able to have over the last few years and throughout my entire racing career, it's been a really enjoyable process, and I'm looking forward to building on it even more.
Your championship season is a pretty interesting story. Started off great, picking up a couple of race wins, seemed to get a little tougher and more challenging in the middle of the season. Did that change your approach to race weekends as you made your way through the year?
I think it did. That's a really interesting question. I think as we had success very early in the season. Like you said, came out of the box strong, got a few wins. But then in that mid part of the season, we had a mechanical failure at an important part of the championship. We had, an incident on track where we didn't end up finishing the points. And small things like that, I think, do kind of change, how you're thinking as a driver. And near the end of the championship season, it was kind of about making sure that we were just maximizing points, not taking any risks, and just trying to bring home that championship title.
You're doing this interview in your sim. How much sim racing are you doing in the off season?
Sim racing is actually a key role in getting ready for the season for sure. I mean, it's very realistic. It's definitely a big help. So I'm on a sim, when I'm home, because I do travel back and forth between, school and the campus and the house where I grew up. But whenever I'm here, once a day for sure, always in the sim.
Okay, you ready for the questions that everybody gets?
I'm ready for him. I'm ready for him.
Okay. In 60 seconds, summarize your championship season for me.
Lots of highs and lows. I mean, we started the season super strong, like you said, lots of wins. Very thankful for the team around me. Started off with a big punch, and then it got a little rocky. Got a little rocky in the middle. Really had to make sure that we kept that composure. And I think our mindset shifted throughout the championship as well. But I mean, we were super quick, tons of pole positions, lots of race wins, lots of championship points. I mean, at the end, it was almost just a weight off the shoulders to get that championship title and come home with that, $220,000 scholarship to move up to USF 2000.
When did you first think you might win the championship, and when did you know you were going to win the championship?
I love that question because going into the year, my goal was to win the championship. That's, immediately before the season even started, before first practice at Barber Motorsports Park at the beginning of the season, it was, we want to win the championship. That's our goal. And I didn't know I won the championship until the last race of the season. It came down to the final race, and my team owner and crew chief, David Martinez, hit the button, called me up, and said, "We won it. You can go for it. You can go for the podium. We don't have to be careful anymore. We got it. We're done." And in that moment, it was just a rush of emotions. But it was kind of weird. I didn't get to fully experience it until I got off the track and took my helmet off, and then it was all over. If that makes sense.
Understandable that after that you get the big rush of emotion, and then you just really let out a big yell, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. Like, when you're in the car, there's so much adrenaline and you're so focused on the job at hand. But, once you take that helmet off, you see everyone with like the champion t-shirts on and all the yelling and screaming and laughing and even crying from my mother. It all soaks in, right?
How much pressure did you feel to win the title?
Externally, not much. I don't think anyone in my environment around me really put a lot of pressure on us to win the championship, but I like to think of myself as my own biggest critic. So internally, I think, I was definitely fighting with myself to limit my expectations, but I also knew that, winning this championship would be a crucial part in advancing my career.
What's the most difficult challenge you had to overcome to win the title?
I'd say leading the championship since day one. It's something that I've never experienced. And to constantly be the leader and to constantly be under pressure from, other drivers, it's a lot, right? You have to make sure that, you're the one making the decisions and you're not the one that's getting caught out. So I think the whole mentality, and actually, doing it and leading a championship for the whole season, that was a big challenge and something I've never really faced before.
What's the funniest thing that happened during your championship run?
I'd say out of the car, I was really lucky this year. I had a great group of teammates. It was four of us in total. So me and three other teammates all around my age. And I mean, we're laughing and joking and goofing around off track in between sessions. I'd say like the funniest or the most memorable off track moments were probably our 2-on-2 scrimmage football games to get pumped up for the races. And we love football, and that was always just a good time.
Tell me, what's the most satisfying or memorable part about winning this championship?
That's a big one. That's a big question. I'd say the most satisfying part of winning the championship was almost like the weight off my shoulders. Because we'd been in the lead since day one. And, to take that off of myself, we won the scholarship, we got away with it. It's a big accolade, and we can continue racing next year because, if we didn't win the championship, that was a big question mark for us. So I'd say that was the true satisfaction, finally got to sink my teeth into that feeling of being champion.
Now, we know about the hugs and screams and yells when you got out of the car, but what did you do to celebrate winning the title?
So, big celebration at the tent, with the team. We were actually fortunate enough to have our primary sponsor there that weekend. They're based in Austin, Texas, Valkyrie AI. So it was kind of like a big, almost like, I don't want to say cocktail party, but we did stick around for a little bit afterwards and, had some laughs, told some stories, and really just celebrate together as kind of like a racing family.
Now, when you make a speech, did you thank everyone that you wanted to? Or if you left somebody out, here's your chance to make good. Go ahead.
So I did do a speech at the Road Disney banquet, and I actually didn't know that I had to do it until like 20 minutes before. They told me they're like Pack, like, you're gonna have to do a speech, and I'm like, guys, what? Like, there's no way. But yeah, I did end up thanking. I hit my list, but I mean, once again, D-Force Racing, amazing. They're my racetrack family. All my friends and family back home. Valkyrie AI is my title sponsor, and everyone else that supported me throughout this entire year. Special shout out to Speed Group. They're kind of, my management panel. That's James Hinchcliffe, Tony Calderon, and David Martinez, who's part owner of D-Force. So they've been a big influence in not only 2022, but my career previous to that.
So, with the scholarship, you won't be coming back to USF Juniors. You move up the ladder. Can you officially give us your plans for 2023?
I mean, nothing's set in stone yet. The contract's not signed, but I mean, it's looking pretty good for 2023 with D-Force Racing in USF 2000 full time.
Okay, and one final question. Where do you keep the championship trophy?
It's in my dorm room right now. So I moved into college actually like the Monday after the championship round. It was a really tight turnaround, and I actually brought the championship trophy with me. So it sits on my desk as kind of like a little reminder, and a little bit of motivation for, my everyday activities.